do the intro.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of CasTuah. For our special episode, Talk Tuah, TOK Tuah. If you haven't checked out our first episode, we recommend you check out that one first to provide some context and some more general information on adapting to from pre-IB into actual IB and what you should consider. Um, Anyways, yeah, first of all, we plan to cover a bit about TOK, the IAs, and the EE, which are all new elements that will be added into actual IB. Yeah, Lucas, you want to start off with a little introduction to what exactly TOK is?
Yeah, sure. TOK is sort of this like philosophy based course where you learn less about like what you typically expect to learn, like, I don't know, what something is, but rather you learn how to think about something. You get learn to like sort of question everything you do and different approaches to different tasks. And honestly, it's really revealing to see how like you can approach something from a bunch of different ways. Yeah, that's sort of like a broad overview if someone wants to go more into depth.
I can't.
Right. Um, TOK actually stands for Theory of Knowledge. So, from the title itself, you can already know that this course would be touching upon many things that is thought based. So, like Lucas mentioned, it's teaching you how to think and questioning everything that happens in your life. TOK is a special course that is not in the Ontario curriculum, but is specific to IB. And the good thing about TOK is you don't have to write an exam for it. There is no final exam for TOK, but there will be things like exhibitions and TOK essays. TOK essays is one of the requirements for the IB diploma, alongside with the extended essay, which we will touch upon later. And the TOK essay is just a 1,600 word essay where you show your knowledge and understanding from this course. And this is a very unique course that I feel, um, and because it's solely for IB, the IB curriculum. I feel like it's very interesting, and especially if you're someone uh, who likes thinking and likes to go in depth within things. TOK will definitely be a course that you would find enjoyable. And in terms of like course work and workload, it's honestly going to be one of your more lenient courses where you're gonna have less more time just to really think about things. It's more like Lucas said, it's philosophical, and as because of that, I actually really I found it really enjoyable. And also, it's just a nice course to have to just kind of slow down, and it's not that much writing, it's not that much typing, it's just more of thinking. Right. And does anyone have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, if I could just interject, like you said, it's a very fun course, or at least I found it to be. I thought we'd just go around and everyone just state like one memorable moment they had from the course. I'm glad to go first. I really enjoyed when we learned about like Plato's thought experiment about like how if there's a person in the cave who can only see the shadows cast by light outside the cave, then they never really have a true perception of what's going on outside. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting and also like a commentary on modern day times. I could see how it's very easily applicable. Yeah, Dao, do you want to go next?
Yeah, something I found really interesting was the discovery of whether light or faster.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I think the biggest discussion that we've had in TOK last year was whether or not math was invented or discovered, because there are a lot of different axioms and paradigm shifts associated with the area of knowledge of mathematics, and a lot of philosophers are conflicted with whether or not we are discovering math as this like power, or that it's like that we haven't learned prior like knowledge to it, and we're just discovering different types of patterns and shifts that we have not acquired in the past, or whether or not it's a type of language. Math is the symbols and derivations of math are a type of language that we constructed to better understand the confines of the world. So I found that very interesting, and also well, the teacher acknowledged the aspect of double dipping between inventing and discovered, but also to ultimately pick a side that was more prevalent and more significant.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the most notable part is definitely how TOK was able to kind of take into account all subjects, and because of that, it was a very, very interesting course since we could talk about physics, we could talk about math, we could talk about biology, and that really reminds me of like the time where we did like, are all humans actually fish? Because fish cannot see water, just like how we cannot see air. And it just became a very, very interesting discussion throughout the entire year. And we just had a lot of fun with this. And to me, that's what it became very notable, and that's what stuck to me. And yeah, Nelson, do you have anything to finish us off?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think overall, best thing about TOK is just sort of the concepts that they and tools that they provide you with, to really discern and sort of like judge things and what is truly considered knowledge and what is like sort of yeah. But so some of the things you learn is like, for example, like the JTB, which stands for justified true belief, which is sort of to just discern what knowledge actually is. And you'd either look at other tools or like other terms such as like paradigm shifts and all that, which was a term popularized by Thomas Kuhn Sahur.
Tung 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 sahur. Anomali mengerikan yang hanya keluar pada.
And so basically, that is just based when a new framework replaces an old framework and introduces a new perspective. Yeah, so they really equip you with the tools to
Yeah.
Right, yeah, this
So
tools. I think.
yeah,
Wait,
TOK
yeah, go ahead.
overall, it's like a really fun course. It's like a fun course mixed in with like some thought experiments. You know, it's like as I mentioned when we talked about whether light or sound was faster. The experiment we did was actually to use like your phone flashlight.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So yeah.
it was honestly a great experience overall. But as all things in life, nothing is just fun. TOK comes with its price as well, which is, as I mentioned earlier, the TOK essay.
Sorry, I disconnected.
No worries, Dad.
welcome
You're all
back,
good.
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, you.
Oh, I
But
think we
anyways,
might
continue
disconnect.
on. There are many requirements to TOK, and as it's a mandatory course, there are things like the exhibitions where you pick 3 objects in your daily life and you basically talk about them and you employ the knowledge you learn through TOK, the terms, the experiences, the examples, and you use that and apply it to the object of your choice. For example, I chose a statue of the Buddha, and I talked about how and I related this back to one of the themes that you would choose, a TOK theme, which will be provided to you guys when you guys do the actual exhibition. And then in terms of the essay, it's a 1600 word essay where you choose from 6 prompts, and you basically just once again use your TOK knowledge and your terms to show evidence um, of learning in this course, and just to write a very in-depth and thoughtful essay on whichever prompt you chose. And these prompts are always very, very fun and interesting. Like for example, the prompt I chose was prompt 6, which was like about wonder and how does like knowledge destroy wonder and stuff like that. It's a very broad and objective. Was it's a very subjective prompt that can be taken into many different perspectives, and it's overall very, very fun to write about.
Yeah, just to add on one more thing, you might think TOK is mostly grade 11, but as Kunyo just said, you still have to do some stuff in grade 12, specifically like the TOK essay, right? You take a couple days where you skip like your class periods. There's 3 in total, I think. The first one is where you like get together, brainstorm, and choose your prompt. The second one is just like a writing and a revision day, and the third one is just final touches before you submit. Yeah, these are honestly really fun times where you're gonna hang out with your friends while you're doing TOK. So yeah, like if you don't feel like scared for any reason for TOK, it is a bit complicated at first because there's a lot of new stuff. But like Kungun said, in the end, it's always really a lot of fun, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and like realistically speaking, like this TOK that you learn throughout IB1, IB2 should be carried on like to your later career, and you should be like openly wondering, critically thinking about the various types of methods, tools that you discover in your respective field. For example, CS engineering, there are different ways that you can target a specific problem, and the same thing is shown for medicine, and even for business-related field where there are more than one aspects to consider that we're considering and discussing with different peers. Because TOK, at the end of the day, is a field that excels the most with group discussion. So a lot of group work, a lot of deep and critical thinking skills are developed with the course in IB1, and this will further be amplified by your TOK essay in IB2.
Yeah, so talking about groups, there's also another IB requirement, the group 4 project. Yeah, so Nelson, would you like to share a bit on that?
Yeah, so for this, you sort of get put into it's sort of a 1 day sort of project where slip up, it's not 1 day. It's sort of like a short
It's like 1 week.
No, it's
yeah,
like 2 days
around maybe
basically.
like 1 week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
So I think there are 2 meeting days for this where everyone gets together and you sort of focus on this one group 4 project. And so you get put into a group of 4 students. So your partners will most likely be of different group 4s like sciences, which this project is focused on. It is like a science sort of experiment that you sort of do to tackle a whatever theme that they decided for you that year. And yeah, do you want to explain the process, the experiment process, Lucas?
Sure, man. Yeah, that sounds great. So like you said, you get put together with a group, and then you have to try to come up with like, I don't think there actually was a theme, but I might just be
It was
remembering.
Mythbusters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So at least for us, the theme was MythBusters, and then we had to come up with like some sort of experiment where we could test a myth and then see if we could bust it. Yeah. So for example, my group, and then also something to note is that you have to add in multiple sciences. All 3 is best, obviously, but just having like 2 of them, so like bio and chemistry or physics and chemistry is fine. My group, for example, we tested the acidity of lemons. Or something like that. Or sorry, no, it wasn't. It wasn't lemons. It was pineapple. Yeah. So you can just take like really any urban myth and then make an experiment. Honestly, it's just I'm pretty sure by the IB standards, it just like help you get an understanding outside of your own sciences that you choose. So like me, for example, I took physics and chemistry, but I got to learn a lot about like biology and all that because I got worked with other people who were taking those courses. Yeah, honestly, again, once again, a really fun experience. That's mostly it. I think some other people had some more fun and interesting ideas for their projects. Dow, do you want to share a little bit of yours?
Yeah, so my project was actually if you could walk blindfolded from like school to like metro, which was right like across the street. And so the idea behind it was like whether like your brain could memorize like the path of something, even if you didn't have like a point of reference. So like your eyesight or like, yeah.
Yeah, and
About-
I like to chime in, like, cause like I was in Dallas group, right? And we did like whether or not you could walk like to Metro blindfolded. And like honestly, there were like different types of failures, successes, but like overall, we really learned about like how we could really combine the aspects of biology with physics and approach it in a way that biology, from a biology standpoint, it was really strong. Physics wise, maybe we needed to find tweak in behind. There was another group that I found especially interesting, which was whether or not a weight like a carton of eggs could support your body weight. And they, although theoretically it was possible, they found themselves to be unsuccessful in carrying this experiment out. So there were a lot of things to talk about and to find different trends.
Yeah. Overall, I had a blast.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
blast. And yeah.
At the end of the day, after you complete your experiment and everything, you sort of prepare and conduct a mini presentation to present to other people who, I don't know, a section of your school that is also doing the group for project. And basically, this is not something to sort of stress about or anything like that. It's sort of just a pass or fail, and there's not much more to it. So
Yeah, and yeah, speaking of pass or fail, don't worry. You're basically guaranteed to pass, unless you're that one group who did boiling water versus snow. That group had a very hard time with their project since it didn't really make much sense. But as long as you do something remotely logical, you will be sure to pass. So
And
yeah, it's not
make
stressing
sure
out.
that there are safety considerations. I think that was the biggest water and snow experiment.
Yeah, boiling water. That was the biggest concern since
Yeah,
there
because
were.
third degree burns all of the, and they tried like I think they tried splashing it on themselves, which was
Yeah.
like
I heard there was property
Not in a school
damage
setting.
on the car as well. There's property damage on some guy's car, so you have to be careful.
With that very intriguing ending, I think we'll have to end it off here just because it is getting a bit long.
Yeah, and we'll
but-
definitely need to talk about IAs for next time.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but,
now leave a comment,
yeah,
subscribe,
subscribe and
we'll
all
address
that.
your
Yeah.
questions.
Thanks.
Yeah, in the next episode.